Hi everyone, this is Cherry Enchantress with Pixie Dust Tarot, and this is your daily dust for Tuesday, May 30th, if you're watching in real time, but it can also be for whenever you stumble upon it. It's also a timeless reading. So I like to do daily readings so you can follow along, but also if you just stumble upon it, sometimes that even has more of an impact because it's something that you're drawn to with the law of attraction. Sometimes when you just follow along the days, one day kind of connects to another. So that can be also very helpful to see how something progresses. So I like to use a different tarot deck every day, and this time I'm using the Prisma Visions. It's a gorgeous deck, and I think probably the last time I used this was just when I showed you, when I just went through all the decks and boxes that I had. So, I mean, I haven't used this very much, but I really love this deck. Look at that. And it's silver edged. I did use this when I was going through all my silver and gold. It has a very profound energy to it, so that's why I guess I feel like I have to use it sparingly. The book, though, is really wonderful. It really inspired me when I was writing my tarot book for my deck. All of it's wonderful. It creates, each suit creates a really big picture. It's just amazing to see. And if you want to see more of this deck, check out my playlist of the decks that I own. I should put it in this little eye in the corner right there if you're interested. Okay, let's see what we get. I like to just pick 3 cards for a collective message. Ooh, Knight of Wands. Oh, it almost looks like a romantic couple kind of entwined, doesn't it? Knight, but it's a knight. Okay. Let's see what else. Page of Swords. Interesting. And the Knight of Chalices. Very interesting. 3 people, maybe, or 3 parts to a personality, 3 energies. Before we zoom in, though, I want to show you, if I can find an example of it in the book, how the images connect to each other. You probably already know. Let's see. Is there any example? I don't see it in the book. But what's cool is, like, especially in the court cards, you'll see like storyboard between the knight, the king, the queen, and how it continues like that. I'm going to zoom on in. I zoomed in, but now I feel like I need to zoom out again because I have something to show you. All right, see how... So this is... And the 10 will connect, and they all connect, but the page connecting to... Not so much, a little bit, just in the swirl. But definitely the knight connecting to the queen, and the queen connecting to the king. Just a little overlap. So the queen here is kind of on her own, and it's like the king is watching the queen, but the knight is actually, the knight energy does feel like there's just kind of this essence of romance here. Oh, and the page, look, there's a person being held by this swirly thing. Okay, and so the swords suit is even crazier. It's this big bird that's holding on to... I like that one the best. It's because it's just so extreme and graphic, but the wands is definitely happy energy and really good positive energy. So let's get back to our original cards. So the energy here is pretty good. It's a surge of passion and confidence, and it's a fire, it's a spark. Well, the spark came from the page, and now it's like swirling around you, making you feel like you can take on anything. The only caution is sometimes maybe you need a bit balance with more practicality. Don't it's not Some days it's great to go with your impulse to just react, and some days it's not so much. Even this kind of connects, doesn't it? A little bit. um, I feel like there is. So the page represents a message coming through, and I like this because this is all this fire, bubbly energy, not bubbly, like passion, flaming energy, uh, this this swell, this burst, this enthusiasm, which is nice, but occasionally, um, it most of the time reacting in this fiery way is probably not the best idea. It's important to, maybe this is kind of like the count to 10 before you act. This is what I'm feeling for this reading. It's like there's a time to there is a time sometimes to get into your head and to use your mind to stop some of your more impulsive actions. So this is really great. This is moving away from the just impulse and moving into a discernment, being vigilant, being aware, um, realizing, using your intellect to penetrate through false narratives and false realities, and sometimes it takes us not being too emotional, right? Sometimes when we're emotionally or passionately tied to a certain thought or certain opinion or certain feeling, and then when you and this may be swirling around you, this energy of, I believe in this, you're passionately fighting for what you think is right, and then a logic comes through, an insight, arising above the emotions of it and going to the logic of it. Logically, how do I deduce the situation? How do I react? What should I do? And sometimes, like in Eckhart Tolle, he talks about the mind in two parts. There's the ego mind, and then and lots of philosophers talk about that. And then there's the higher self, the awareness. So it could, and I think you can use both a lot of times in certain circumstances. There's the logic, there's the clear thinker. It's not the overthinker, it's just the clear thinker. And then there's the higher self that kind of like agrees and pats you on the back and says, okay, you're on the right track now. You got the idea. And you can feel it. Like when you wonder what the truth of something is, you'll get kind of a flash of inspiration. Sometimes it feels like passion at first. It's like, I know what this is. And then it goes to your head and wait a minute. Okay. And then a click, something clicks, an insight. And then it goes to the higher self and it tingles and it's goosebumps and it's this feeling of aha, and yes, I know, like this knowing. So it's your clear cognizance comes through. And so when you're feeling the clear cognizance, you know the truth of the matter. And the truth of the matter is maybe there's look how that kind of goes like that. There's more to your actions here than the night could be of chalices could be a different approach. Maybe this is leading with passion and this is leading with love. There could be two choices that you're making here between two types of people or two kinds of ways to approach something. But ultimately, you actually have, if I feel like the page represents you, I feel like you have the best choice here. Like you could be choosing between two directions or two people or two ways to go or two mindsets or two ways to feel it within your heart about something, but the best way to go for you is actually using your intuition, and your intellect collectively and in in cooperation with each other. It's interesting too. I feel like the Knight of Chalices is also very determined too in their own way, just like the Knight of Wands. They just have different styles about them. The Knight of Cups is He can be stubborn, kind of like the fixed sign of Scorpio, where the Knight of Wands can be stubborn like the fixed sign of Leo. And then there's the emotions, you know, causes this person to really kind of dig in, um, and it's sometimes it's just like in nature, fire can go wild. There's, forest fires, and then in nature, water can surge and swell, tidal waves and things like that. So when emotions get heated and high, these are the two emotional elements, fire and water. Then it seems like, who's winning? So you might actually end up having to be in between friends or something in an argument, or trying to, you might have to be referee, or it could be referee of a sports game, or even, it could be this team against this team, that you could be, it could be lots of things. It could be just definitely like seeing, you're like the clear voice in this situation, whatever it is. There's these two oppositions, and two, it's not so much, they may not be even opposing each other, but they're definitely two ways of thinking about things, and ways of, and it's more than thinking, because it's, the knights represent action, so it's the ways of doing things. And it's just, so this is a lot of emotion, and this is a lot of passion, and thankfully you're cool, calm, and collected, and you know which direction to go in. And you may have to help others see the light. Basically, you may have to help others calm and see the clarity, and see the worth of using your mind in an intellectual way, and also in a intuitive way. So use that great mind of yours and help others calm the situation down, and use logic, sometimes logic and intuition, and that clear cognizance. These two people think they have clear cognizance. They think they have a gut feeling, they know what's going on here, and they're reacting to it. But really, you have to get into that mind energy and the very calm Zen energy before you can truly know. All right. And that could be part, maybe some of it has to do with meditation. This is news, information, and knowledge, students learning things. So there could be something you're learning, or something that you're teaching and they're learning through you. This, like the teacher student aspect, always can be, a balance that goes back and forth. The student becomes the teacher becomes the student, back and forth like that. So that could be an energy right here too. Like this very kind of novice type person has incredible insight, and these very volatile, maybe older energies, been around the block. They know what to do. They're knights. They've traveled. They're action oriented. But they're like, wow, this person's got some insight. Maybe we should listen to this person. So that could be you, or you put yourself where you see yourself, or you could be all three energies. You could be going from one extreme to another, hot and cold, and deciding, nope, I'm just going to balance these energies and just be clear-headed. Okay, so I hope you like that. Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust.